Hi, welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. In today's video, we'll be doing a cleansing type of flow that will hopefully shake off those winter blues and get you in the right state of mind for spring. So hop into something comfy, hop on your mat, and let's get started. So to start today, we'll begin standing towards the front of our mat. This is a nice kind of wider legged standing posture, a little bit wider than hip width apart. Clasp your hands behind your back. If this isn't accessible to you, you can grab a belt or a rope, some kind of strap, a yoga strap if you have one. But if not, bind your hands, clasp behind your back, shoulders back, chest wide. With an inhale and an exhale, we're going to fold forward, sink down, knees bent quite a bit here. And just place your chest between your thighs, arms hopefully pointed straight up in the air, still with that bind. And take time here to breathe, maybe rock back and forth, straighten one leg, straighten the other, sway back and forth. Just take some time here to feel this posture. With an inhale and an exhale. On your next inhale, use the strength of your arms to carry yourself back up. And when your hands touch your hips, release. Arms to the sky like we're holding a basketball. And bring our hands down to heart center. With an inhale, lift. And with an exhale, release. Opposite bind of the fingers if that's the route you took last time. With an inhale and an exhale, fold once more. Again, chest between the thighs. Hands pointed straight up in the air or arms pointed straight up in the air. You can sway again here, straightening one leg, straightening the other, and back to center. Strength of the arms takes you up. And when your hands touch your hips, release. With an inhale, small back bend, like we're holding a basketball here. And exhale, hands to heart center. Go ahead and release your hands. Feet come hip width apart. Proper Tadasana here, mountain pose. Or even on the balls and the heels of the feet. Our kneecaps, just imagine bringing them up. Our thighs, press them against our bone here. Evenness in the hips. Spreading the chest. Not pinching the shoulders together, but space between the shoulders as well. Hands, energy in the fingers, and hands either facing out or in towards the body. Level chin. Proper Tadasana here. And inhale, raise our arms up, touch the palms overhead. And exhale, dive forward, forward folds. Knees bent here. Just an easy forward fold. Again, hands released. You can sway, straightening one leg, straightening the other. With an inhale, halfway lift, and fold, fold forward. Go ahead and step back into a high plank, or you can step back into a table posture. But from a high plank, then bring right leg forward, low lunge here. Come up, hands towards the sky, and lower down, hands in front of you, and take a twist to your right. Or if you happen to step forward with your left leg, you would twist to the left. Breathe, inhale, exhale, and on the exhale, sweep your right arm by your right hip. Hands up, small crescent lunge here. And exhale, hands back down to mat. And step the back foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive up. Hands touch at the top, and bring your hands down to heart center. And inhale, lift the hands, and swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back with the opposite leg. Right leg this time, step back. Hands forward, and take a twist to the opposite side, left side this time. And sweep the left arm by the left hip. Inhale, crescent lunge, and exhale, hands to the mat. Stepping forward into a forward fold. Inhale or halfway lift, and exhale, fold. And with the strength of your legs, inhale, arms straight up, small back bend, and hands to heart center. Inhale, lift the hands, swan dive out, forward folds. Let your hands hang here, and we'll plant the hands, and we'll step back, both into a high plank. Table posture this time. And with your left hand, bring it straight up, or straight out and up. And we'll thread the needle here, just for a breath or two. And after your next exhale, inhale, lift the hand up, and plant that hand. And now float the knees off the ground, and we'll baby step towards the front of our mat, back into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold again. And inhale, rise, arms come straight up. And we'll swan dive right back again to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. And step back again into a table posture. And thread the needle with the opposite side, so right arm out and up with an inhale and exhale, straight into that thread needle, just for a breath or two here. And on your next exhale, inhale, we'll lift the arm back, and we'll plant it back into table posture. And again, float the knees here, and slowly walk back up to the front of your mat. Bring your feet together, ankles together, and we'll rise up into chair pose. Arms straight up, sink back into your heels, knees bent, and lower your arms to the front. And we'll twist, still keeping those knees pointed forward. We'll take a twist. Keep an eye on this right hand coming back. And inhale, sweep the hand. And exhale, take a twist to the other side. And inhale, sweep the left arm to the left hip. Up and fold again. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands once more. Step back into high plank. And like your string is tied around your waist, go ahead and plank this, or lift those hips into downward facing dog. Walk the feet forward a little bit just to try and get those heels on the ground. If you're not there, that is completely okay. This is a proper downward dog, and we'll take a few breaths here. You can pedal your knees. Just to find what feels good for you in your downward dog. Remember, we're pressing our chest back towards our thighs. We're trying to drive through our heels, trying to place our heels on the ground, driving through our hands. Our head hangs heavy. Now look towards the front of your mat and slowly, baby steps,
Start to walk up to the front until your hands come hip width apart between, your feet come hip width apart between your hands. And inhale, halfway lifts, and exhale, fold. Now with the power of your legs, knees slightly bent,
drive up, hands above the head, and exhale, hands to heart center. Now come to the center of your mat here and take a pretty wide stance. Turn the toes in slightly so the edges of your feet, the outside of your feet, are both pointed straight forward. It's going to feel a little bit weird, but this is the proper way to do this. Energy through the thighs. Hands, you can be at heart center. You can have your hands on your hips if you like. But actually, I recommend putting your hands on your hips just so you can feel this next part here. So with energy in the thighs, energy in the feet, imagine you're in a big pot of honey and you're trying to pull your legs towards each other. So with energy there, your core is engaged, meaning you're bringing your belly button to your backbone, if you can imagine that. Hands on your hips, and you're going to hinge at your hips and fold forward, but at the same time we're going to keep our chest up. Not to crane our neck up, but just keep our chest up, and our neck stays still, chest up. You want to try that one more time. So chest up, core engaged, thighs pulled together, energy in the feet, and fold forward with our chest up, hinging at our hips.
and you can release. And if releasing to the ground is not accessible to you, you can grab your yoga block here, or if you have a book or something, just to raise the ground up just that much to help you out. But if you're here with your hands or your block or whatever you may have, place your right hand underneath your nose. Your left arm comes out to a T. And we'll go ahead and take a twist and try to keep your hips as level as you can. Try not to raise the left hip up while we're doing this, but we're just twisting from our midsection. A few breaths in this twist here. And exhale. Release. Walk your hands over to where your left hand is underneath your nose. Right arm out to a T. And we'll take that twist to the opposite side. Again, making sure as much as possible that our hips stay straight and even. And with an exhale, release that. And you can slowly walk your hands over to your left side. Slowly walk them over to your right. And if this is getting to be too much on your thighs or your legs, wherever, you can bend the knees slightly. Go ahead and walk your hands over to the right. Grab hold of your ankle and walk your hands back in. Now, if this is accessible to you, you can take your peace fingers and wrap them around your toe just for a bind. If not, you can just continue this slow walking with your hands motion left and right. But if you're here, you can join me here. Go ahead and release that bind. Release the hands back to the ground. Now try to follow along here and place your hands on your hips. Your thumbs facing in and your hands wrapping around your hip bones. Now engaging your core. Imagine pulling your belly towards your backbone. And with the power of your glutes and your hips, we're going to rise up,
Hinging at the hips, coming straight up. If you did that, excellent job, everyone. Bring your feet in slightly. Toes can point about 45 degrees out, just as long as your knees aren't falling in like this. But there's some energy here. There's energy in your glutes, and you can rest your hands on your knees. And go ahead and move your right shoulder towards the midline and take a twist to your left. Opposite action here, right shoulder comes back, left shoulder towards the midline. And again, right shoulder in, left shoulder back. Inhale back to center, left shoulder in, right shoulder back, and back to neutral. Go ahead and stand tall. Bring your feet in to the middle of your mat, about hip width apart. Nice mountain pose here. And for our peak pose, will be a tree pose in honor of spring. That's when the trees grow their leaves, right? So balance onto your left foot. So you can find that proper balance. Bring your leg as far up as is accessible to you. And our arms can take several various mudras here. You can have them straight up. You can bring them out, spreading the fingers, just like a tree growing its branches for the summer or the spring. You can have your hands at heart center, as long as you find and maintain that balance. A few breaths. And we'll slowly start to release here. Bring your knee to the front. Extend your leg. Lift it up. And set it back on the ground. Hip width apart. With your hands, wherever your hands were, go ahead and end up back here in Anjali Mudra, hands at heart center. And shift your weight over into your right foot. And same thing, opposite side. Our nice tree pose. And wherever you are in your tree pose is fine. If you're down here, you can have a kickstand, basically with your left heel on your right ankle, left toes on the ground. You can bring them up to your calf. Just try not to rest them on the knee because we don't want to put any pressure on our knees. But if you can come above the knee, that's perfect. If you can come up even further, as long as your toes are pointed down, you have nice contact on your thigh, energy in the right thigh. You can take various positions with your arms, either straight up, you have them out, extending the fingers like our branches growing, or you can place them here at heart center. Either way, we'll take a few breaths here. Let's go ahead and deconstruct this. So we'll point our knee forward. We'll extend our leg and we'll lift, 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 and set that down. Hopefully you leave this practice feeling cleansed and motivated for whatever comes your way. I want to thank you for joining me, everyone. Namaste.